Hey, welcome again to the Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. No wings required. We've got a great show for you, a great cast of characters. Among them, a dad who's used to flying in the sky, but proved he's also pretty talented at building thrills on the ground. Also, a pediatric nurse and what he's doing to help his young patients heal. It's a little different. A teen who fulfilled a massive dream performing with Pearl Jam, how he got on that stage. Plus, the cast of the movie Coda, what they took from their real lives and put into their characters. And the high school student who missed part of her senior year after a tragedy, how she made it to graduation. All that and our most heartwarming videos of the week. You're watching The Uplift. Hey there, I'm Tony DeCopel. Welcome again to The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, money back guarantee. We're going to begin with our most heartwarming videos of the week, fan favorites, and we're going to start with this one. Take a close look at the video you're about to see. There it is. That is 7-year-old runner Talayla running right out of her shoes at the starting line of the race. Other runners took off. She had to run back. She grabbed her sneakers, tried to have a do-over. They said no way, so she put the sneaker back on, adding seconds to her time. She's way behind everyone else. But she powers on, and then if we could just turn up the audio, you can hear Mom cheering her along. Talayla never giving up, coming all the way back from dead last to win the race. Talayla's dad, by the way, is professional boxer Terrence Bud Crawford. So maybe kind of athleticism runs in the family. Bud, for his part, posted that video of the astounding race, and he wrote, quote, "She doesn't have a clue just how much she has motivated me." I think she motivated a lot of people. Love that one. Okay, moving on to another video. Some big thanks, I think, are in order to the team at the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. They've got a 3-month-old giraffe there. The giraffe's name is C2Ni. Had some trouble walking, got a pair of specialized leg braces after this condition that made her front legs bend in a way that giraffe front legs are not supposed to bend, apparently. It was hard for her to stand, hard for her to walk, and the zoo says it might have been a fatal condition if not for the treatment. Now, if you look closely, she not only got those orthopedic braces, but they made them giraffe patterned so she could fit in with the other giraffes and it would match her other legs. I just think that's the coolest detail. All right, now to Smithfield, North Carolina, where Miss Geraldine had a very eventful birthday. She's 93 years old. She's on her front porch, and the fire department stopped by with a song. Can we hear it for a second?
Happy birthday to you. Yes, ma'am. We hope you have a blessed birthday.
Now, that was an impromptu rendition of the happy birthday song because Miss Geraldine there left a pot on the stove a little bit too long while she was out in the garden, the house filled with smoke. Fortunately, the fire department was able to come by, check on her. She was okay. And before they left, the firefighters, learning it was her 93rd birthday, just had to sing. Congratulations to her. 93 is so young. Coming up, a pilot who took his parenting skills to new lows, at least altitude-wise, what he built in his own backyard. And the teen hit by tragedy during her senior year determined not to miss graduation, what it took for her to get there. That's coming up. Scott Brazelton is the kind of dad who was just not content with your regular store-bought swing set in the backyard, so he decided to build something else. CBS Denver's Connor McHugh has more.
All right, Wes, here we go.
At the Brazelton home outside Brighton, the idea of fun is reaching new heights each and every day. No matter how many twists and turns, 3-year-old West can't get enough. His dad Scott, on the other hand, has his limits.
We basically go until I get tired, and because he never gets tired of it.
This wood and PVC pipe roller coaster is the culmination of months of hard work and ingenuity. At 9.5 feet high and 200 feet long, it was a true father-son project from the start.
When they're 3 years old, they don't help that much, but they'll help paint or they'll hand you some screws or some tools, and it's just a neat way to bond.
It's also a labor of love he's done before, building his first coaster 5 years ago for his other son, Wyatt.
I'd carry it over there, and my dad would put it on, so that was a fun part about it.
And it's just so much more fun than a tree house for a kid because they don't have to use their imagination. They're just having fun the whole time.
While Wyatt had a propeller plane, Wes chose something more familiar, the tricolor stripes in Southwest Heart, an ode to the planes his dad flies every day.
This is a planter. This is a smaller planter. And then our engines are made out of very, very high-tech Pepsi cans.
Now Wes can't get enough.
That was so fun.
Taking to the skies even more than his dad.
When they like it and the light bulb goes on for them, that they have this in their yard, it's a really rewarding feeling. My motto is if it's worth doing, it's worth overdoing, so no regrets.
That's great. Can I invite myself over for the weekend? I got a couple kiddos to bring with me. But he gets that a lot in the neighborhood. Really well done. All right, now to what it took for that high school student hit by a tragedy to make it all the way to graduation, and what happened there. Trayvon Howard has the story.
So silly, Miss Debbie. Here, let me hand you your diploma. Okay, diploma. Wave to the crowd. Okay. Okay, coming down. Okay.
It's grad season, and for Kalia Carter, walking the stage for graduation will mean more than just receiving a diploma.
The second day in the hospital, I thought it was about to be over about then because that was the hardest time in there, and every test was just coming back negative, and I just didn't want people to think I was faking, and I was not. I was actually in a lot of pain.
Pain caused by a car crash. Over a month ago, a driver with a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit hit Carter's car, leaving her with a traumatic brain injury.
Cleo was having eye tremors, so her eyes were never steady. She couldn't focus, and her walking was off. Like immediately we knew, like the speech changed, we knew like something's not right.
With about a month left in the school year, medical officials determined Carter would not be able to return to her classes. Instead, her days would now include physical therapy.
How your legs feel?
With her mother documenting every step of the way.
Push, you can do it. I'm right behind you. Push.
Kalia couldn't attend most of her senior celebrations, but said graduation would not be one she missed.
I deserved to walk across the stage, even in the hospital when I couldn't see or walk or do anything of myself. I told my mom, if I don't do anything, I'm gonna walk across the stage. So yeah, I was gonna do that. I was determined if I had to do it myself or with somebody.
There she is, y'all.
And that is just what she did. Walked across the stage on her own to receive her diploma.
This is my senior quote. It's almost impossible to get it done until it's done. So if you put your mind to it and work for it, you'll do it.
Love that story. She got it done. Wish it didn't have to happen, though. Don't drink and drive if you need another reminder. The cast of Coda talks about the Best Picture winning movie about children of deaf adults and what that movie means for that particular community. Also, what it took for a teen to jam on stage with a legendary band in front of an audience of 20,000 people. How'd he get that gig? Stick around, we'll tell you. Movies can be a window on a whole new world or a mirror reflecting back the world we live in. And the movie Coda, which won Best Picture at this year's Academy Awards, happens to be both. Caitlin O'Kane has more now on Coda's lasting impact.
35 years after deaf actress Marlee Matlin took home an Academy Award, Troy Kotsur took home his own Oscar for Coda. It was another win for those in the deaf community. The actor says the film, an acronym for Child of a Deaf Adult, is a sign that Hollywood is changing, and he hopes it will open the door for other people with disabilities.
I've met so many passionate, hungry storytellers who have great stories to tell who happen to be disabled. So I don't see them as disabled, I see them as creatives and storytellers. And so I really hope that the outside world doesn't see them for their disability. People are people, regardless of whether you have a disability or regardless of whether you're gay, lesbian, or trans, or from any diverse or marginalized community. What's beautiful is that everyone has stories to tell and we can collaborate and work together.
He says working on the film drew on some experiences from his own life. A recent experience with his daughter, Coda herself, came to mind. She was working on a song and asked him what he thought.
So I put my hands and my head down on the piano to feel the vibrations. And sometimes I can feel the softness or the vibrato or the vibration of the keys. And then she played another song. It was a bit softer, and tonally and emotionally it was different. And so I could notice the ebb and the flow of that song. From my deaf perspective, my daughter is curious. It's kind of fun for her to see my reaction. Of course, I don't know what the mood is. I don't know what the lyrics are.
He says being a parent, whether hearing or deaf, doesn't change. After all, we're all just trying to connect with our children.
There are so many parents who happen to have children who love music, and the deaf parents try and figure out a way to understand and connect to them and understand their passion.
Jonathan Urquhart, whose father is deaf-blind, had a similar experience sharing his performances with his dad.
Whenever they had that scene of Marley, Troy, and Daniel sitting in the audience, like watching their daughter sing and not hearing anything, that is what went through my head whenever my dad would come see me. And it broke my heart. It really hit home for me.
In the film, the main character Ruby sings for her father, and he puts his hand on her throat to feel the vibration.
So growing up, I'd always take my dad's hand and go, ha ha ha. I'd put his hand on my throat so he could feel how I laugh.
With a number of deaf actors in the industry today, it looks like the future is getting brighter for deaf representation. Kotzer's co-star Daniel Durant says although the Codas themselves aren't disabled, they are part of the same deaf community, and sharing that perspective is important.
So now we can continue coverage of this and keep hitting people with this information and raise awareness about us. So I have a gut feeling that's positive that things will continue to change in the future and we'll continue growing opportunities and having different deaf roles for movies and TV pop up.
Coda not only taught audiences about deafness and deaf culture, it gave real-life Codas a chance to see themselves on screen.
There's so many stories to tell. And so my real question is Hollywood ready?
And we turn now to a 9-year-old boy with cerebral palsy who uses a wheelchair to get around the house, but had no way to get out of the house except for on his grandfather's shoulders. No way, that is, until recently. CBS Minnesota's Reg Chapman has more.
Want to go, Marshall?
A trip up the ramp in his backyard means the world to 9-year-old Marshall.
Squeal around the corner.
For years before the ramp was installed, he was stuck in the house. His only way in and out of his home was on his grandpa's shoulders.
Robert, his grandpa, pushes him up to the door there and then takes him out of the chair, and they got to stand up and he packs him. Throws him over his shoulder like a pack of potatoes.
Now Marshall has fun navigating the turns down the ramp and into the garage to be loaded into an accessible van that takes him to school and to all the activities he enjoys.
To know that we are able to allow people to get out of their homes and on with their lives, that's just the biggest thing for us, is to just that impact that we're able to give people.
Kathy Greiner is Executive Director of Rebuilding Together Minnesota, the organization that built the ramp. Its mission, to help low-income families make improvements to their homes so they can stay in them.
Basically, we want to keep them in that home and prevent homelessness. So we're doing repairs that they wouldn't otherwise be able to afford, and also doing accessibility things. So keeping people from falling in their homes, allowing them to get in and out of their homes.
From putting a roof on a home to building ramps or adding a shower bar to a bathroom, anything that keeps people safe in their homes is what Rebuilding Together is all about. For this family, it helped a 9-year-old boy with cerebral palsy fulfill his dream of seeing the world outside his home.
It helps him get out of the house, because if I'm not here, there was nobody that was able to pick him up and take him out of the house. So he was kind of this was his little jail, basically. And now this opened the door for him so he can go everywhere.
The team at Rebuilding Together is about listening and responding when and where they are needed.
And not just putting up ramps. They understand the people that they're helping, and they understand their needs.
Tell them thank you.
The needs for some families to stay in their homes are many, and Rebuilding Together Minnesota is doing its part to make sure we all can take part in building strong families, neighborhoods, and communities.
It really does take a village, in this case the whole state, to keep all of our neighbors safe in their own homes.
Access and mobility, so important, and that organization is providing it. Well done there. Coming up, a nurse with a decidedly non-medical way to heal his patients and where it got him. We're talking national television. Plus another big performance, this one in front of a crowd of 20,000 people. The bold move this teen pulled off, they got him on stage with, is that Pearl Jam? It is. Hospitals are no fun for grown-ups, and they can be downright scary for kids, but there's a pediatric nurse we want to tell you about, hoping to make those stays for those kids just a little bit brighter. Caitlin O'Kane has his story.
A stay in the hospital is meant to heal you, but for a child, it can be scary. Manny Remelis spent time in and out of the hospital as a child himself.
When I was there, the thing I think back on the most is how the nurses there really took great care of me, really made me feel like family, really made me feel like I was at home, really helped me to forget about the troubles of being in a scary environment, not always having my family there with me. And so growing up, I decided I wanted to do the same thing and give back. And so that's why I became a pediatric nurse.
Thanks to the nurses, Manny looks back on that time fondly. And as a nurse, Manny doesn't just want to use medicine to heal, but something else.
I just got a little song I wanted to sing for you. One of the things that I've learned throughout my time, both in life and just in my experiences within the hospital as a patient and as a nurse, is that music is a very powerful tool that we have in our arsenal to really help put people at ease. You play music to help them forget about their troubles, even if it's just for 3 minutes. We initiate dance parties with our patients. Obviously, we want to treat the disease, and that's very important because that can help them to get out of the hospital. But you also want to look back on these times and you don't want to be scared about the hospital, right? Because we're here to help you, but it can be very scary. And so we want to make sure that you're comfortable and that you understand what's going on and that, you remember it fondly.
Manny sings all kinds of songs to the kids, from nursery rhymes to contemporary music.
I'm not always hip to the most popular music that kids are listening to these days, but you put it on, you give me some lyrics, and I'll catch on eventually.
And he recently joined a group of other musical healers, the Northwell Health Nurses Choir. The group was even featured on America's Got Talent.
It was the first time that we all got to see each other in person and to really, talk about our experiences and use music as a way to heal us. And so we're just so happy that we had this opportunity to use music, not only to heal ourselves, which was a great experience, but also to heal the world,
Manny took his talents from the bedside to the stage, and he hopes to inspire people far outside the hospital.
I think it's inspired a lot of people to not only sing for their patients, but, whatever it is that brings you that joy, that helps to refill your cup, if you will, to always seek that out, because we all are going through tough times, and whatever it is that you find that helps to restore you and to help bring you back to 100%, find that thing and do it. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow.
Many teens dream of being rock stars one day, but the teen we're about to tell you about got to make that dream come true, at least for a day, at least for a song. He played drums for a legendary band at a concert for 20,000 people. How, why, what? We'll explain. Here's CBS San Francisco's Kenny Choi.
When Kai Nukerman starts playing the rhythm and strikes the cymbal, snare, tom, and bass drums, he enters the zone.
I get to let all my stress out on the drums, hit as hard as I want.
There's a fiery flow as his hair flies in all directions.
One of the greatest feelings in the world for me is playing drums. Makes me happy.
Countless hours of practice paid off Friday night when Pearl Jam needed someone to fill in for its drummer Matt Cameron, who tested positive for COVID.
My heart started racing when everyone started screaming, and my heart skipped a beat.
That electric moment playing Mind Your Manners in front of 20,000 screaming fans at Oakland Coliseum Arena happened because of a decade of dedication to drums. Kai's band, The Alive, got a chance to meet Eddie Vedder and his daughter at a music festival years ago. Flash forward to Thursday, 24 hours before the concert, Kai texted Vedder's daughter asking for a chance to fill in, then scrambling to record a demo, paving the path for the band's blessing to rock on in a one-of-a-kind magical moment.
I tried to stay as focused as possible. I just watched the other band members I tried to not look at the crowd as much because it was kind of freaking me out.
The reason why we're here at a drumming tradition in San Rafael is because my neighbors have actually been complaining about some of the sound coming from this garage.
I play in my room on my electronic kit so it doesn't bother the neighbors as much because I've had many complaints.
A plastic toy drum set his parents gave him as a child inspired this now teenage talent to dedicate his energy, enthusiasm, and everything to produce a captivating sound and beat his classmates at Mount Tamalpais High in Mill Valley are just discovering.
Well, everyone in the class was like looking at me as I walked in, and then they're like, no way.
And so is the music world.
I'm just gonna keep working on the music, see how far it can go. Hopefully I can have it as my job one day.
In Mill Valley, the beat goes on.
Pretty timeless accomplishment there. I think you will have it as your job one day. As for our job here, we have lifted you up. It's been 30 minutes. The guarantee is good. If it didn't work for you for some reason, go ahead and re-rack the tape, play it again. Money back guarantee. As always, that's our show. See you back next week with more of The Uplift.